Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Ashish and today our topic is gonna be about brake pads. What are the different type of brake pads that's available in the market? We have three type of brake pads. That's your organic, your sintered and your ceramic. These are the main three type of brake pads that's available in our markets. So now let's talk about different type of brake pads and their advantages and disadvantages. Our first set of brake pads are organic. Organic brake pads are generally found in most of your commuter segment motorcycles. They are made out of softer materials such as Kevlar, carbon, and uh, rubber. So, based on their usage, their proportion and the ratio that they are mixed in varies. Other than that, there is no difference to it. There is no added advantage to it. The advantages of these brake pads are they are readily available at most of the places. They are cheaper. What are the disadvantages? Are, let's say, they are not temperature resistant. So at high temperatures, your brake are gonna, the bite, feel, and feedback is gonna drop significantly. So at high temperatures, you will not be expecting good performance out of these brake pads. One more negatives of these brake pads are during wet conditions. Once these brake pads become wet and soggy, you will drop, the performance of your braking will drop again, which in turn will give you a bad bite and feel feedback. So these are your organic brake pads. Next, we're going to talk about sintered brake pads. Sintered brake pads, also known as metallic brake pads. They are made out of different metals. They are made under high temperatures and high pressures. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of sintered brake pads? Sintered brake pads, the advantages are they are, because they are made out of different materials, they are very high resistant to temperatures. So even under very hard braking, they are not gonna fail, or they're not gonna lose your braking power. You're not gonna feel any drop in your braking performance, right? That is one of the advantages. The second advantage is this is a throughout brake pad. When I say throughout, is under any conditions, let it be cold, hot, or during rainy time, this brake pad's performance is not going to change. It's going to give you consistent performance throughout all the different conditions. What are the negatives or the cons or disadvantages of sintered brake pad? Because they are metallic brake pads, they are very noisy. When you're under heavy braking or when you normally brake, the noises that it produces is going to be very irritating to some people. So that's one downside. The second one I will say is these brake pads are expensive. Compared to all the other brake pads in the market, these are very expensive. And the third downside I will say is because of their nature, they tend to eat your brake rotors faster compared to your other brake pads. Next, we're going to talk about ceramic brake pads. What are the advantages and disadvantages of ceramic brake pads? Ceramic brake pads are made out of ceramic particles and a little bit of copper fibers infused in it. So because of that, the advantages is they will perform better compared to your organic brake pads. They are cheaper compared to your sintered brake pads. What is the negatives or the disadvantages is that during cold temperatures, let's say below 10 or below 5 degrees Celsius, these brake pads will lose their bite, feel, and feedback, right? So only one negative towards this. There's no other negative sides towards the ceramic brake pads. They're really good in all the other conditions. Even if it's wet, even if it's high temperatures, these things will not give you a bad performance. Okay, next, let's talk about how to select a proper brake pads based on your riding conditions, right? So let's talk about the price range first. What are the price ranges for these brake pads? Organic brake pads will be anywhere from 100 rupees to all the way up to 500 rupees. It's cheaper. The sintered brake pads start at a price range of 2000 rupees and above. So next is ceramic. Ceramic brake pads will come from 1000 rupees to 1500 rupees. So these are the price ranges. Okay, now let's figure out what brake pads suits you better. Organic brake pads. If you are a regular commuter, you use your motorcycle on everyday basis, and you have a motorcycle that is from, let's say, 100cc to all the way up to 400cc, and you don't want to burn a hole in your pocket. Let's say you want it to be very economical. That's when you select these organic brake pads. Who should not select an organic brake pad? Let's say if you live in a hilly region where you have lots of ups and downs, and you have, or let's say you live in a place where you have lots of rainfall throughout the year, these two type of people should avoid organic brake pads, because under high temperatures, let's say on a regular uses, the performance drops, and once the brake pads become wet also, the performance drops. So avoid brake pads if you live in these two type of places. Next is, let's talk about sintered brake pads. If you own a motorcycle that's above, let's say from 600cc all the way up, you need to go for sintered brake pads, because all the power and the weight these motorcycle brings in, you need something that will stop and perform at the same time, right? So sintered brake pads is your go-to brake pads. The second type of people who want to opt for sintered brake pads are anyone who's into motorsports. If you're into motorsports, you need the best, and sintered brake pads is what you want to go for. Ceramic brake pads, on the other hand, let's say you are 200cc and above rider all the way up. You don't want to burn a hole in your pocket. You want to be a little bit budget conscious, but at the same time, you want something that performs better than your organic. That is when you pick up your ceramic brake pads, right? But the only people who should avoid these ceramic brake pads are people who are living in colder regions. Let's say the place where you live, the temperature drops below 10 or 5, then avoid these things, because these things tend to underperform during cold times. So these are the different type of brake pads. You now know how to select a brake pad. You know what are the 3 different type of brake pads. Now, based on this, go ahead and let us know what your opinion is about on this video, and then you can give us a suggestion also on what our next video should be. Just mention that in the comment sections. So until the next video, bye-bye, ciao.